Shana Tova, everyone. Welcome to Machar's Kol Nidre Yom Kippur evening service for 2025 as we begin the 10th day of the year 5786 in the Hebrew calendar. For those who don't know me, which is probably like 2 people in the room, I'm Jeremy Kreidel, Machar's rabbi since 2017, and I'm glad you've been able to join us this year. If you're new to Machar, welcome. I hope I'll get a chance to meet you, even if it's only briefly. And if you've been with us before, welcome back. I'd also like to talk with you, because of course I want to talk to you too. It's not like I only talk to new people and then disappear. Well, maybe. I know that some of us are more comfortable or are less comfortable being in a big room like this, and so we're joined by returning and new participants at home via the internet, as well as in person at Cedar Unitarian Universalist congregation in Kensington, Maryland. If you're in the room with us today, please note that there are restrooms on this floor and the floor below. There are signs on the doors that tell you what equipment is in whichever restroom, and you can feel free to use the one that you need. As well, take note of where emergency exits are in the event of a fire or something like that. Please note that the one here is not accessible to people with mobility needs, but the main entrance that you came through is. There's no ramp or anything like that, just hit the button and the door will open. I'll be joined today by a number of readers and our choir, and we'll have a talk on this year's theme of disquiet from one of our longtime members, Marina Breutman, and there's much else besides to talk about. Before we go too much further, a note about our books. The books you have, if you're in person with us today, include a section toward the back that we've named the hymnal section. Many, though not all of our songs today are in that section. Actually, they are all in that section. We got that fixed today. Listed by number. It sounds more confusing than it is. There are also a few songs that might be a little bit unfamiliar this year. I promise you'll know when to turn and where to turn and all of that. If you're joining us online, you can go to the Yom Kippur page on the Machar website and download the 2019 Kol Nidre liturgy. That's what we're using in the room today. You will not have sheet music if you're joining us online due to copyright things. I know it's easy to sit for a while in a place and find yourself distracted, and there won't be lightning that comes through the window if you need a break. It's okay. Your mind maybe is going to take you to places you need to be, and so I'll be announcing page numbers so that we can kind of stay on pace. It's okay to be distracted, so don't feel, there's a lot of stuff in Judaism that lets you feel guilty. This doesn't have to be one of those things. I mean, it can be if you want it to be. I know that that's our natural disposition. I do suggest, to the extent suggestion means, do you really want me to look at you like this, with my foot tapping, that you silence your phone and your smartphone and your iPad and your, stuff that needs to be silenced. Many volunteers have helped make our services possible, and we'll be thanking them later tonight. For the moment, please remember that none of this is actually possible without their efforts or without you being here. I'd like to invite everyone to just take a moment in the room and introduce yourself to the people around you. Maybe you haven't seen them for a while, maybe you saw them last week, maybe you have no idea who you're sitting near. Maybe you can pretend you don't know who you're sitting near and you've known them for 30 years. Whichever way you want to go with that, please take a moment to say hello to the people around you. Our first reader for today is already on stage with me, Ellen Isco, but before we start, look, there's a lot of elephants in the room, right? This being the time that we live in. Reality is part of what we do as a humanistic Jewish community. Engagement with the real world as it comes is part of the package, and the reality in our area is that the absence of a properly enacted federal budget package is going to hurt us now. The Jewish Federation of Greater Washington has resources to help those affected, in particular, a support organization called J Caring, which can provide referrals for mental health support, career services, financial assistance, and other social services. If you need access to this, you can email me at rabbi@machar.org or just walk up to me after services, and I can provide you with the phone number. Among the financial services available, hopefully still, they haven't been tapped out yet, is an organization called the Hebrew Free Loan Society. Hebrew Free Loan Society, it's still a loan, but there's no interest charged on it. It's available to anybody who's a member of the Jewish community, so if you don't need it, but you know someone who does, now you know it's there. And so we'll start on page number 1 with Hine Matov. You have multiple versions of Hine Matov in your hymnal section. We will be using number 4 and number 11 in a medley, which sounds very, very confusing. The only real comfort I can offer you with all of that is they are the standard Hine Matov tunes you've probably heard a bunch of times. So if you've heard it before, you'll be able to join in pretty readily. And the words are the same in either place. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for people to dwell together in unity. As evening casts its shadows over the earth, ushering in this most significant day, our thoughts join with those of other Jews throughout the world.
We put aside petty concerns and vain desires. We ask ourselves important questions. What is our life, and of what avail is our strength? What is our wealth, and to what purpose our power? How can we control the course of our lives? What is our future?
On this Kol Nidre night, bound by the long memories of our people, we stand united with the generations past, recalling the lives of our forebears. We are stripped of pretense and revealed in all our vulnerability. Amid the uncertainties of life, we seek peace within ourselves and with other people.
Erev Yom Kippurim.
Together, Na'eh Ziv Yom HaKippurim, How wonderful is the glory of Yom Kippur.
Na'eh ziv ha'olam. Na'eh ziv ha'olam. How wonderful is the splendor of the world. Na'ah tifireth ha'adam. Na'eh tifireth ha'adam. How radiant is the glory of humankind. Na'ah tifireth ha'chayim. Na'ah tifireth ha'chayim. How beautiful is the glory of life. In the year to come, may we succeed in examining our lives and in living with our realities.
Or zarua latzadikim uliyishre lev simcha. Or zarua latzadikim uliyishre lev simcha. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the just in heart.
Let us celebrate the light of the candles.
They burn for us. They reflect the hope in our hearts. May they light the way in years to come. I know that you see Eifo Ori on page 3. We're going to hop over Eifo Ori this year. We're about to start the Kol Nidre part of our Kol Nidre service, which seems a little redundant as a thing to say because isn't the whole thing a Kol Nidre service? If nothing else, that's how we advertise it, right? Kol Nidre is really a paragraph or two of a much larger whole, but the combination of its ideas and its music has grabbed hold of many our imaginations to such an extent that Yom Kippur evening is synonymous for many with Kol Nidre. There's a long history of rabbis being really uncomfortable with Kol Nidre. Not this time of day, but the text. Because it seems like a preemptive get-out-of-jail-free card for your promises. Or because the version of it we don't use here, but that is used in other communities, seems to release us from all the stuff we missed last year. If, as is true for most humanistic Jews, you don't think that breaking a promise or vow is a grave sin, because that's why you need Kol Nidre traditionally, it's fair to ask, why do we have a Kol Nidre at all? So rather than talk at you about it, I just kind of want you to sit with the question, why are you here? What pulls you about Kol Nidre? There are plenty of acceptable answers. In fact, I'm not going to grade your answer. I'm not even going to ask you for your answer. But I want you to think about it a little bit, because it's one of those texts that when you stop and think about it, it's a little bit like doing this. I cross my fingers and I put it behind my back and I say, I am going to keep my promises. Except I'm not. Which is a really interesting way to start a holiday that's supposed to be about not needing to do that next year. One of the things that I do is I'm on the board of, it's a really long name, the International Institute for Secular Humanistic Judaism, the Rabbi School for Humanistic Rabbis. Which means that occasionally I get to do things that make rabbinical students uncomfortable, like assign them homework. And so I assigned Jacob homework. So Jacob's going to come up. Jacob Hudson is going to come up. Jacob is a product of our JCS program. And he's going to offer a little reflection that he's put together. If you want to use Ellen's post for just a moment, you are welcome to do that.
I'm so sorry. I'm a thief. Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Hudson. I am currently a rabbinical student at the Institute with a very long name. I've been a part of the Machar community for 20 years now. I'd like to first thank Rabbi Jeremy for asking me to speak today, and then curse Rabbi Jeremy for asking my father to speak last week. If you attended the service, you know that Joe Palca sets a pretty high bar. Don't expect me to meet it. As we are here today to usher in Yom Kippur, I wanted to touch on the words that will be chanted a little later in some form. The traditional Kol Nidre chant includes a little clause that says, it's legal, it's okay to sit and pray alongside sinners. We don't really truck with sin around these parts, or the concept of praying, but, I think we can all agree that it's good that people don't have to achieve a state of moral purity to sit in a room together and experience this type of community. It's good to wipe the slate clean every once in a while. I'm sure many of us would also agree that there are some transgressions that cannot be easily forgiven, that cannot be easily wiped clean. I imagine there are very few of us who have not been put in the unfortunate position of having to cut ties with someone we love, a friend, a member of our family, because of their actions, sometimes their beliefs, sometimes their fraying connection with reality itself. There are times when people who may want some sort of absolution from us, we can't offer because they are a danger to us or to our communities. This sort of mental calculus, judging whether a person has the capacity to harm us, has, over the past few years, become second nature to many. Even more so as increasing radicalization drives the fringes further apart. There is, I think, an exhaustion that sets in. Are we tired? Just really, really tired? I think that exhaustion can harden us to the suffering of others. I have seen many people, good people, who have responded to harm being done to rural populations and the poor, to immigrant populations who voted for Trump, respond to harm that is being done to them with derision or dismissal. They made their bed, they can lie in it. They voted for him, they deserve it. I get the impulse, I do. It has a certain balance, you get what you paid for attitude. And it's a very understandable human impulse. But that sort of spiteful reaction prevents us from holding true to our own ideals of humanism, equity, peace. It denies us the ability to ever really say with our whole hearts, no one deserves to have their life turned upside down, to be ripped from their families. And I want to latch on to something that Rabbi Jeremy talked about last week, that we need to open the doors more. We need to seek now, in the cultural moment that is seeing more and more pockets of society become isolated and scared and reactionary, as rising authoritarianism tells us that certain groups are to be excluded from human life, from public life, I think we humanists need to oppose that fiercely. Because this sort of scared isolation is driving people crazy. And the best way to de-radicalize people is to make sure that their only company isn't their own thoughts and a Twitter tab, X tab. It's not always safe for everyone to engage with people who have become radicalized. And even when it's safer, it's deeply uncomfortable work. You have to gently push back on a lot of really antisocial ideas, like really uncomfortable things. And it's not an easy ask, especially if that person makes you feel unsafe. I would love to tell you that these are unprecedented times, we really don't know what's happening, and so our instinct to retreat inwards and backwards makes sense. These are pretty precedented times, actually. For those of us who have an awareness of the history of 20th century fascism, for those of us who have family who experienced the atrocities in the name of that ideology, or, just those of us who have eyes, there are some truly troubling parallels to our current political landscape. And so I want to piggyback off something my dad said. Do something. Pull someone back from the edge if you can. Don't do it if it makes you unsafe. If you have the benefit of skin color, class, creed, sexual orientation, gender presentation, and interacting with that person does not pose an immediate threat to your safety, pull them back a little. Just a little bit at a time. If we want to make it possible to pray with sinners, to sit in a community with people who have transgressed and hopefully made it over the hump, gotten better, it takes a lot of hard and uncomfortable work, and work's not going to get easier if we don't start now. Thank you.
We are up on the top of page 3, just under the heading that says Kol Nidre.
Kol Nidre is not a prayer, but a chant. It is concerned with the importance of vows, oaths, and promises of human behavior.
In the 5th chapter of Ecclesiastes, the author says, "It is better not to vow at all than to vow and not fulfill." But our forebears understood the need for escape clauses in human intentions. For despite good intentions, all of us make promises we cannot keep.
Jewish tradition has established that unfulfilled promises and commitments to other people require forgiveness from those wronged. This is the cornerstone of the secular, humanistic Jewish view of Yom Kippur. Human interaction is the highest form of relationship, and it is only at this level that forgiveness and interpersonal rebuilding can be undertaken.
Kol Nidre, chant of ages, chant of Israel, chant of sorrow, measuring off the throbbing heartbeats of a people bowed in anguish, crushed by tyrants, thwarted, broken, wandering ever, homeless, weary.
Generations set your motive. Out of trials, hopes, and yearnings, added each its variations to your theme and to your cadence. Diverse lands and diverse periods poured their soul into your music.
When we hearken with our hearts turned, we can hear the lamentations through time's corridor resounding. We can see revealed before us heroes, martyrs, saints, and scholars, loyal, steadfast people of Israel. It is traditional for Kol Nidre to be chanted 3 times. We retained the threefold chanting, but do it in 3 different versions. So we have our first chant is the traditional Kol Nidre text, our second one is played on piano, and our third one is a humanistic Kol Nidre text. Greg Greisa from our chorus will sing the traditional Kol Nidre chant on the middle of page 4.
Bekinu ye, bekinu se.
All personal vows we are likely to make, all personal oaths and pledges we are likely to take between this Yom Kippur and the next Yom Kippur, we publicly renounce. Let them be relinquished and abandoned null and void, neither firm nor established. Let our personal vows, pledges, and oaths be considered neither vows nor pledges nor oaths. Here we stand, heirs of the past and creators of the future. Let us open our eyes to wisdom with a new heart, a new spirit, and a new resolve.
Once more, Yom Kippur has come, and we strive to rid ourselves of self-pretense. We stand now between the day that was and the one that will be.
In the year gone by, what did we take? What did we give? To what were we blind? Our passion shall now be for wisdom, love and truth we shall find. Justice and peace we shall embrace, and our impulse for good shall prevail.
Kol Nidre, chant of ages, chant of pain and chant of pathos, mingled with your notes of sorrow or notes of joyous exultation.
Kol Nidre, chant of the ages, chant of grief and chant of triumph, echoing this night of memories in the ears and hearts of Israel as once again we draw together. With your plaintive chant, Kol Nidre, rise our hopes for the dawn of peace. When all hearts are purged of hatred, passions and lusts that rend asunder, so that all may stand together. May our hearts and minds be open to what this day asks of us. May we be prepared to listen with our minds and hearts. Thank you, Ellen, for co-leading the first part of our service. In a moment, Harry Appleman will perform the second of our three Kol Nidre repetitions on the piano, after which Steve Reisman will join me on stage as our second reader for the evening. It helps when one unmutes. I'm like, what's going on here? We're on the top of page 6. We began this year, as all years, with promises and good intentions for improving our lives. Too many promises have been forgotten, too many hopes not realized. Who will hear our regrets? Who will open our prison and set us free? To whom
Can we raise our voices? As we accept our imperfections and confirm our hopes, we grow in ethical and moral strength. With a sense for life's potential, we move beyond finding fault to seeking new opportunities for growth.
What can we learn from the Kol Nidre? We must avoid making empty vows. We must commit ourselves to deeds rather than words. We will strip away old habits. We will be open to change. Our third repetition of the Kol Nidre melody, the humanistic Kol Nidre, will be sung by Greg Greisa.
Vekinu ye, tzedakah yihayu kayamim.
Vows we make, all personal oaths and pledges we may take that are made for love and for righteousness, we affirm and accept. Thank you again to Harry and to Greg for their Kol Nidre chants and performances. They both are having, I suspect, fairly busy musical seasons right now. So we especially value their ability to join us and perform our Kol Nidre repetitions this year. We're on the bottom of page 6. We began this year, as all years, with promises and good intentions for improving our lives.
Too many promises have been forgotten, too many hopes not realized. As the promises were ours, forgiveness must be ours.
As we accept our imperfections and affirm our hopes, we grow in ethical and moral strength. With a sense for life's potential, we move beyond finding fault or blame to seeking new opportunities for growth.
While we may have a modern philosophical outlook, we are not so different from our ancestors. The underlying ideas of the Kol Nidre still possess significance for us today. These are the sincere longing for a clear conscience, the release from feelings of guilt, the recognition of the sacredness of the promised word, and the desire to be absolved from vows which could not be carried out.
How many of us have fulfilled all that we have vowed? Who among us has not broken a heartfelt promise? I thereby forgive those who have hurt me, whether deliberately or by accident, as I forgive and pardon fully those who have wronged me. May those whom I have harmed in any way also forgive and pardon me. And may I not willfully repeat the wrongs I have committed in the past, and lovingly forgive myself as I forgave and was forgiven by others.
May tolerance and justice light our days. May tolerance and justice light the world.
Many of you know who Christoph Waltz is. If you don't know the name, you may know him from movie roles like Hans Landa, the Jew-hunting Nazi SS antagonist in *Inglourious Bastards*, or Dr. King Schultz, who serves as an ally and mentor to Jamie Foxx's lead character Django in Django Unchained. Like many actors, Waltz does press junkets and news conferences while promoting his work, and he was asked recently by a reporter, "How do you stay hopeful in today's often monstrous times?" His answer? A flat, German-accented, "I don't." So that's a downer. Our theme for the high holidays this year has been disquiet, and since we're usually a smaller crowd on Kol Nidre than during our daytime services, I feel comfortable revealing a small fact. Disquiet is the result of workshopping a theme with others, most notably our indefatigable coordinator for the high holidays, Nadine, and Nadine's thesaurus. Somehow, I have multiple lexica and dictionaries for Hebrew, Greek, Latin, Syriac, Yiddish, Akkadian, Ugaritic, Aramaic, and Russian. Raise your hand if you've heard of even half of those languages. But I have no English language thesaurus, which is an oversight, I guess. My initial thought about a theme was a bit more direct and perhaps better suited to the Yom Kippur part of things than all of the high holidays: fear. Also, I think we can agree, kind of a downer. But disquiet does, I think, catch something that fear does not. We don't walk around constantly in fear. I think we often do, though, walk through life with a continual sense of disquiet that bubbles up into other things. Fear, sure, but sometimes relief or elation or sorrow or grief or worry. Like we did last year at Kol Nidre, I think it's worth taking some time to spend a moment together as a community talking with one another. We're a smaller group, so it's easier to do that than during the morning services. And so let's take a few minutes to talk about the disquiet we're experiencing. Guide rails first. All at once. Go ahead, get out of your system the names of politicians that make you feel disquiet. Just do it now. Shout it out. Keep coming. Pete Hegseth. Has no one actually uttered the one name? Voldemort.
He who will not be named.
He who shall not be named. Okay. Right. Like, we can keep going, right? I wanted you to get the name out, whichever name it was that you wanted to get out. I'm honestly surprised that everybody didn't shout out the one name at once, but there's so much to go around, right? Second, I know what you really want to do right now is share the thing that makes you feel disquiet. The thing, right? Okay, so the things, the long list of things that make you feel disquiet. It's just that I think there's a chance that if we just sit here sharing what makes us feel bad, we're just going to reinforce one another's feeling bad. Misery loves company. I have not known misery to lift us up in any particularly noteworthy way. Unless you just really like Stephen King, I guess. And so the question I want you to work through as we play, the kids are not going to know who I'm talking about, but everyone else will, as we play Phil Donahue tonight. The question I want you to work through is not what makes you feel disquiet, because that list is longer than a CVS receipt. What do you do with it? This doesn't have to be positive psychology or rays of sunshine or whatever, although if you use positive psychology or you happen to have rays of sunshine with you somehow at 8:25 at night, I guess I'd like you to share your rays of sunshine. What do you do to cope? What do you do to change the things you can that might be causing your disquiet? I assume that you might have one too.
For me, it's looking at things that are being done to help all the wonderful people that we just mentioned in the discussion, to push back against them and know that I can do something wherever I can, but know that there are others out there that are as committed to doing good things and to kind of evening out some of the things that have already taken place.
So, solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got one? Who knows one? I know one.
Hello? Hello?
There you go.
Hi. Has anyone here participated in a Tesla takedown event? Okay, so these are still ongoing, but they started as a way to speak out against Elon and fascism and center that at Tesla dealerships. And when I first went to one on Rockville Pike, I thought I would get all my anger out, my rage at these people and these things were happening. And instead, I got to join hundreds of people lining the street, and even better, as the cars drove by, people honking, the sense of community was amazing. And so I am very grateful.
that continue to happen, and you can drive down the highway and still see people hanging over highways and with their signs. And the city of Greenbelt, I think, has one regularly. I went to the first.
October 18th. Anybody who would like to, the more the merrier. Hopefully it will be the biggest set of demonstrations in this country in history.
The 18th, by the way.
No King's Day.
Chai.
No King's Day.
No King's Day, but Chai, right? The 18th. Chai, okay, means life. We'll talk someday about why Beth Chai is actually not good Hebrew. It's not a long story, but it is a story.
Attending the demonstrations, but also finding out that members of my family, who I did not think were activists, were there on the line. And I was so excited to see them and their magnificent signs.
This one is a lot smaller than what other people have been talking about, but resting and spending time with friends.
Resting and spending time with friends. You have to take care of yourself too, right? Do you have one back there? You do. Okay.
I read a lot, mostly fiction, because it's a lot different from what's going on now, and they're the good guys always win.
One more time.
I read a lot, mostly fiction, because like in the supernatural world, most of the time the good guys always win.
Sometimes in the real world, the good guys win too, right? That happens. I'll be right over there, Joanna. I'm going to trot this over to Marlene. I'm just going in the order in which I see the hands.
As soon as the Rosh Hashanah service was over, Joanna Pratt and Barbara Francisco and I were talking about how they've been writing postcards for quite a while this election season, and so we launched this request for those of you who want to write postcards to Virginia people to go vote November 5th, because we were talking about, well, the things we could do with the election next year. And we thought, no, I got to do something now. So it just feels good to do something now.
I mainly just wanted to share Carolyn Hax's advice, which she signs off her Friday chats with. And she says, have a good weekend, out of spite if you have to. And I think about that a lot because it's important. I think suppressing joy and making you feel like you shouldn't have a good time is part of the point. So I try to do it out of spite.
Speaking of weekends and joy, this Sunday we're doing our Sukkot event for our JCS students and the other school students. And Sukkot's a joyous holiday, so maybe think about coming and signing up for the potluck so that there's a little bit more for lunch for everybody. That's my ad.
Well, I was going to mention the postcards, but I'm glad Marlene got to that. I've been doing those for years, and I do feel that getting people out to vote is one of the ways we can actually beat what's going on, maybe, if we're lucky. I'm going to switch it over to what I do to stay sane and sometimes have a little joy in my life, and that is singing. And in particular, some of us here, Joy and Dory and I, have been singing in a rock chorus, which is really, once I come home from that, I'm better for at least 5 minutes. So.
5 is more than 0.
Yeah, it is.
The thing that I value is liberal democracy, open society, and it's getting torn down. But our courts, our institution of the courts, seem to be holding, and it actually really makes me feel better and more secure because they really are the bulwark against everything. Yep.
I find following Rachel Maddow, who's on Mondays on MSNBC, she always shows the little successes and the protests all over the country and gives you a little bit of hope.
And this may seem really obvious, but I think just continuing to talk amongst ourselves with everybody you feel comfortable talking to about what's going on is really important, because we're not isolating ourselves, we're reminding ourselves, just like the banners and the honking reminds us that there are a lot of people who feel the same way, and they haven't succeeded if we are still thinking, we're still talking with each other, we're still able to talk in this public, sort of quasi-public room, and I take heart from that, and I want to keep it going.
To the extent we can, we should be giving money to causes and people who are doing the work.
Remember what Emily's list, the Emily stands for in Emily's list? Early money is like yeast. It raises the dough. I'll be right there.
I just wanted to share something hopeful. I'm a federal employee, and okay, I just wanted to share something hopeful. I'm a federal employee, and earlier this week, I was in the kitchen and discovered that on all the refrigerators throughout the building, someone had put a magnet that said the oath that people take to become federal employees. It was just really beautiful.
I find it comforting listening to and reading historians and others that put what is going on in context. And I would recommend for everybody a guy named Neil Howe, H-O-W-E, who talks about generational theory and how this is, for many reasons, a crisis time in the U.S., and that the U.S. has had a crisis about every 80 or 90 years. The Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Depression, World War II together, and now.
I'm very happy to hear about the postcards and not only getting people out to vote, but helping them to vote. I am a poll worker, so I would encourage everybody who can to volunteer for that. And if you are the person like me who everybody asks, who should I vote for X or Y, and they all come to you, start an email list and give everybody your recommendations, because people will vote if they know more about who you think they should vote for. My list is called Joyce's Choices.
Hey, it's a list, right? So if you're not sure on smaller, seemingly smaller votes, how many of you know lots and lots about the local judges that you vote for example? The lawyers, right? Ask your lawyer friends sometimes, because sometimes they can give you a little bit of insight, right? So what was the thing that came out of this? This was very cleverly designed by me to get everybody to give a particular answer that they didn't know they were going to give. We don't have to sing Aphra Ori, right? Where is my light? My light is in me and in you. We don't actually have to sing that to say it, because we just did it. That's the value of community. Disquiet is permanent. The antidote is in the room. The one thing I got from law school was the ability to construct a situation so that I got the answer I knew I wanted as opposed to the answer you thought you were going to give. Speaking of being in the room together, we're on the top of page 8, and one of the things that's quirky, I guess, in some ways, about Jewish tradition and the high holidays is that it's a community sport. Sure, there are moments where there's private meditation, but everyone shares the same texts together as a community when identifying the things they fell short on. So there is, a lot of people don't know this, there is a traditional last rite in many traditional Jewish prayer books. Why would you know this? Not a thing that most people run around with. I know it because I know it. We think about that as something that's very connected to Catholicism a lot of the time, right? You see war movies and the priest is going from person to person and doing last rites. We have the last rites in a lot of prayer books. It turns out the text for the last rites is the same confessional text as the one that shows up in traditional Jewish prayer books for the high holidays. Even the very personal confession is communal confession as well. And so we have confessional texts today and tomorrow, and so we're on the top of page 8 with the start of our humanistic confessionals, the Viduyim. Perhaps part of the blame falls on me because I kept silent, uttered no cry. Fear froze my heart and confused my mind, and I did not resist the lie.
My clear voice was choked and dumb, and I allowed them, without protest, to outrage and violate what was dearest to me, holiest.
Cowardice came and walked the earth. We hid our true feelings from one another. We did not hear the cry of a friend, and our own cry we often had to smother. Black suspicion, like the plague, murdered faith and left hearts cold. Courage was branded treason. Betrayal was called heroic, bold.
The courts were ordered what verdicts to give. Trials were secret, the results never in doubt. Light hung its head in shame, waiting that at least one man should cry out.
No! But no one cried. Before he firmed the word, could articulate, his head was broken and his tongue torn out. Only one thing was left, the patience to wait. To wait that justice might prevail one day. Perhaps that was part of my blame, that I kept silent, did not speak, as though I had nothing to say. We are at the top of page 9, and the choir will lead us in B'makom, which is number 12 in the hymnal section of the book.
I have seen violence scar the face of our planet.
Yet I did not speak.
I have heard cries of hungry children.
Yet I did not speak.
I have seen poverty and diseases.
Yet I did not speak.
I have witnessed the pain and suffering of others.
Yet I did not speak.
I have wanted to scream out in rage against injustice.
Yet I did not speak.
I too have been in pain.
Yet I did not speak.
I have wanted to laugh with joy.
Yet I did not speak.
I have wanted to share words of love.
Yet I did not speak.
Yet there were times of outrage, pain, and joy.
When I did speak,
may I always have the courage to speak what must be spoken.
May we always have the courage to speak what must be spoken. Deep in the center of this holiday is the concept of commitment, individual and communal. If the year does not begin fresh with hope and clean of wrongdoing, then we suffer and the community suffers. But the choice is ours. It is not foreordained. The world of possibilities is born again each year. Perhaps all of us in all our relationships to ourselves, to our loved ones, and to our society need to reevaluate our sense of commitment. We also need to reevaluate society's commitment to us. Perhaps this symbolizes the true meaning of Yom Kippur for us, to assume responsibility for all that we want and all that we are. We're on the top of page 11.
In whom can we place our belief? Ourselves. In whom can we set the soul aglow? Ourselves. Who has the power to assuage guilt and to end the reasons for guilt? We do. We ourselves. We of human heart and spirit.
To whom should we give our first applause? In whose inner being lies the power to exalt our humanness? Let us give ourselves the first applause. Let us reach into our inner selves and find that which we call righteousness. For it is not found in the heavens or beyond the mountain. It is found here, inside our inner human depths. It waits there for us to seek it out.
Can we give an accounting of our souls? Do we dare to ourselves? What will we find in the recesses of our mind, in the echoes of our past?
We have the power and the choice to narrow the abyss between the thought of good and the deed of good. Can we find the will? We can, and we shall. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference, for each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible,
for each time that we have struck out in anger without justice or cause, for each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others.
Ourselves, we begin again in love.
For the selfishness that sets us apart and alone, for falling short of admonitions of the Spirit, for losing sight of our unity.
For those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, that have fueled the illusion of separateness, we forgive each other and ourselves. We begin again in love. Thank you, Steve, for serving as our second reader for tonight. I'd like to invite up Marina Breutman to speak on our theme for this high holidays of disquiet. Marina has been a Machar member for 23 years, and her kids are JCS graduates. She is the peer review director for the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, a non-governmental health research funder.
Okay, so as I was finishing up working on this talk about I guess a couple of hours ago, I had a plan, and I am not going to go with that plan because it was going to get us all, upset again. So I'm not going to go there. I am going to do part of it, but we all know what's going on, and I always feel like the word disquiet is just there's like something under our feet. There's something that we're sort of living with all the time and waiting for it to jump up at us, and that's the feeling. And as a health researcher, I know that has a huge effect on all of our health, and so I want everyone to kind of keep that in mind. I did want to share the things that give me hope. Number one, hearing about the news through satirists is always a better way to do it, and it's really fun. And the big one recently is the fact that Jimmy Kimmel got back on the air because of things individuals did. And that was really hopeful because you actually saw that we can change things. So what I was going to talk about was my kids, putting one of them on the spot, and the theme of disquiet. Disquiet has been a part of, I think, all of our kids' lives, for those of us who have non-adult kids, since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. They were, they lost sort of this period of time, this important period of growing up, of social interactions, of figuring out who they were in the world, and the disquiet has sort of continued from there. They live in a world where most of the people they know, adults, children, have anxiety and depression and are living with it because the world is so difficult to live in. They're seeing not just the political chaos, but this toxic social media environment. And I'm not saying social media is terrible, but the influencers, the people who get out there and have created this environment for the young people of white supremacy and misogyny, and they're trying to figure out how to deal with this because they are humanists and they are ethical people. My daughter, for those of you who don't know, is transgender. As we were talking about where she should go to college, there were a lot of things to consider there. And she's in Maryland because she's safe here, at least for now, and I'm very grateful for that. However, we have federal insurance, and we're about to start paying out of pocket for her gender-affirming care because federal employees can no longer get that covered in their insurance. So that's something that we have to live with. But I also know that we're so lucky because we can afford it and we can get her care. It's available. She's in a place that is safe, but talk about feeling a sense of disquiet, feeling comfortable going out and living your true self in an environment where you don't know how the people around you feel about you is scary. During COVID, there were actually, and we live in a very liberal part of Montgomery County, but there were actually anti-Semitic, Nazi vandalism that occurred in our area, including our elementary school. Kind of shocking, and to know that it's right there. So I look at my kids and I constantly think, how do I tell them that it's going to be okay? I mean, they're almost adults, and they're very sophisticated, and they know a lot of things that I don't, and they're always like, Mom, how can you not have heard of this person? But I still feel like it's my job to tell them that everything's going to be okay, that, we'll be all right, and in particular, it's worth it to keep going, to grow up, to learn who you are as a person and to live your life. It's worth it to keep going. And it's really hard to say that now because, you really have to wonder if things are gonna get better. And I'm an optimist. I'm the optimist in my household. So I usually feel like, it'll all go away. But I keep the fiction that keeps coming back in my mind is several books by Margaret Atwood. I'm not just talking about The Handmaid's Tale. There are several books that are like coming to life right now, and I'm just seeing, how much, it just feels like this is where we could be going, because it feels like it's going there. So how do I convince them that we should keep going? How do I convince them that it's worthwhile to be good people and help people? I think I try to remind them, and they remind me too about the little things that make it worthwhile. Our dog, really well done movies, jazz music, red velvet cake, new books, more Rubik's Cubes than you can possibly imagine, doing chemistry experiments in your kitchen, reading, online stories about transgender kids and, following these things. El Cordova, for those who know her. And they're spending time in the woods and maybe not talking to anybody at all. These things are all things that I know that my kids enjoy and makes them feel better. And I have to remind myself that they have that. But I can still tell them what I've also always tried to tell them, that they should take advantage, because we're so lucky. They should take advantage of the stability that we have to be able to reach out and help those who don't have it, and experiment in ways that other people may not be able to, and to fight in ways that other people may not be able to, because they've got a safe place to come back. And just keep trying to push back against the disquiet that they're living with and growing up with. And part of that was my original talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. I'd like to invite up our final reader for the night, Matthew Miller, as we begin our Nizkor memorial section. We're on the middle of page 12. Zachor means remember. We are condemned to remember. It is the very nature of the human condition. Because we remember, we have culture. Because we remember, we have tradition. Because we remember, we are able to learn from our past. Even if we wanted to stop remembering, it would insist on intruding. We cannot be the creatures of our evolutionary past who lived from moment to moment without the assault of conscious memory. Our past stays with us vividly, and we must learn how to live with it. The Yizkor service is a customary part of many Jewish holidays. If you think 4 is many, then that's true. The word itself is derived from the beginning lines of a prayer, Yizkor Elohim Nishmat, may God remember the soul of. As humanistic Jews, it makes more sense to refer to this important part of our tradition as Nizkor, let us remember.
It is not death I fear, but dying.
May strength and courage be mine.
It is not dying I fear, but pain.
May strength and courage be mine.
It is not leaving I fear, but being left behind.
May strength and courage be mine.
It is not separation I fear, but saying goodbye.
May strength and courage be mine. Each of us remembers our traditions in our own way. It is through our actions today that we build our own legacy. Our traditions will be preserved and passed on to new generations. Their memories will be shaped by our present. We are children of the past. We are parents of the future. If we dwell too much on the past, we shall neglect the future. But we cannot only look forward, or we will forget the lessons that history provides. We are always the bridge between the past and the future. We stretch between the old and the new. We do not betray the future by ignoring our roots. We pay tribute to both. And the choir will lead us in L'Ador Vador, which is number 25 in the hymnal section. We each encounter grief and loss differently, and we feel it differently at different moments. And we know that in general, life gives us little option but to step forward into the future holding pain. Some losses feel larger than others in some moments and smaller in others. However you find yourself feeling now, about personal losses, historical losses, the horrors and tragedy of October 7th and its ongoing aftermath is the right way for you to feel now as we take time tonight to mark and remember our losses as we mark the beginning of Yom Kippur. We'll have a chance tomorrow to spend more time thinking about the world since October 7th in particular. For now, we take tonight as an opportunity to join with others in the Jewish world as we mark losses, both personal and historical, during our Nizkor service. Come on. We light this candle in memory of those killed in the Holocaust. Though they are silent, our ancestors speak with our voices. Though their hands are still, they labor through us. They live in us, in our faces and our bodies, in the energy that moves our muscles and in our thoughts. They survive in our memories. It's good to have the gift of remembrance. It's the story of our people from generation to generation.
There are things in Jewish history too terrible to be believed, but not too terrible to have happened. Let us honor the martyrs of the Holocaust in Europe and of all the other Holocausts unleashed on the innocent of this world. In their memory, we affirm our commitment to freedom and peace.
We're at the top of page 14 at the heading, The Jewish Ghetto of Łódź. The Jewish Ghetto of Łódź was written by a longtime late Machar member, Harold Black. The language of the first verse can be difficult for those who have had certain traumatic life experiences related, among other things, to self-harm, and thus, as in recent years, I will leave the first block of that poem underneath the leader prompt for private reading. We'll skip to the second block of the poem where Matthew will pick up the reading for us.
If you choose to live, there is music to hide the rumbling of your empty stomach. Branislawa plays her violin in the House of Culture. In Soup Kitchen number 2, Stamen the tenor sings. Or you can trade in the black market your last tablecloth or sheet for a loaf of bread.
But there are times when you do not choose. A notice is tacked to your door. Fate has chosen you to ride the train.
We will remember to forget is a crime against memory.
We light the second candle for peace in the world. We remember lives lost in strife and yearn for a day when the words ring true, Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Then nations shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. May Israel live in peace.
May all the world know peace. I am a member of the world family. I'm related to those who stand next to me, by the air we breathe, by the light we share, the hope we have for a better world.
I have a responsibility to give, to receive, to be open, tolerant, free. I have inherited this world from those who have lived here before. I occupy space and time for a few short years. I hold this world in trust for those who will follow.
My life with others can fashion this world toward peace other than strife, hope rather than despair, freedom rather than slavery.
I, with those about me, can make common humanity a living thing. I pledge my willing spirit to this thought. We will do this together. We are on the middle of page 16, and the choir will lead us in Lo Yisagoy, and I'm going to hand it over to Joanna to provide the requisite instructions for how this will go. Because I missed choir rehearsal from my cold. We're on the middle of page 16. We light the third candle to remember our more personal losses. We are all victims of loss. Some of us have wept, some of us now weep, some of us will weep tomorrow. Today we remember those who are no longer living. In tribute to them, we live wisely, courageously, and usefully.
Each of us is more than an individual. We are members of a living people. Our lives stretch back into the past and reach forward into the future. As we dream of tomorrow, we do not forget our yesterdays. We remember our loved ones who have died. So long as we live and remember, they too shall live.
If you are able to do so, please stand for a moment of silence as we remember those we carry in our hearts. Zecher Tzadikim Livracha. May the memory of good people be a blessing for us. May the memory of those we loved in life sweeten our thoughts and our deeds. May the grace of their presence reach out to touch our hearts and inspire our days. Please be seated. From generation to generation, Lador Vador, we are linked in time to the traditions of our people, both in community and innovation. We celebrate the cycle of nature, the chain of tradition, the lessons of our ancestors, the gift of hope, and the joy and preciousness of life. The days pass, a year goes by, but the melody remains. The days pass, a year goes by, but the love remains. The days pass, a year goes by, but the friendship remains.
The history of the Jewish people is long, filled with accounts of menace and isolation, emphasizing our need for connection and peoplehood. We cling to each other for affirmation and mutual support. Even in good times, we remember past dangers and find comfort in those who share our memories of survival.
But in this world, all people are equal in adversity. We are all threatened by common dangers: nuclear holocaust, hunger, disease, persecution, and loneliness.
Even when the suffering of Jews becomes a memory, we must honor the lessons we have learned through our historical experience of suffering by caring for those who still suffer.
We believe in the future of the Jewish people. We believe in the future of humankind. Take a moment at this point to invite up Will David, Machar's president, for a greeting and some announcements.
It's getting late. I'll be quick. Some thank yous to all of the Kol Nidre participants. Check-in and security, Barry and Elaine Dancis, Emily Blake, Jackie Kropman. Our greeters, Carolyn Snyder, Chris Warshaw, Ellie Warshaw, Mira Warshaw. Our seating coordinator, Kathy Bergman. Setup, Dory and Steve Reisman. Child care coordinator, Sharon Rosenberg. Our pianist, Adam Nam. Choir coordinators, Dory Markowitz, Joanna Pratt. The choir, Keith Campbell-Rosen, Misha Clive, Barry Dancis, Greg Riza, Joy Markowitz, Joanna Pratt, Dory Reisman, Joyce Rosenthal. Our Kol Nidre piano soloist, Harry Appleman. Kol Nidre traditional and humanistic chants, Greg Riza. Our speaker, Marina Breutman. Our readers, Ellen Isko, Matthew Miller, Steve Reisman. Special thank you, as always, to Nadine Wetstein for coordinating everything with regard to the service. Our administrator, Jackie Kropman, for keeping us organized. And of course, our Rabbi, Jeremy Cradell, for his thoughtful remarks and leading us tonight. Quick announcements, service tomorrow. The family service is tomorrow morning at 9:30. Main service starts at 10:30. We have a Yom Kippur Break the Fast invitation tomorrow night from Beth High. It's a community potluck, Break the Fast at 6:30. For those that wish to attend, there's a sign-up genius that's in the Machar Weekly News. And finally, on October 5th, our Sukkot celebration from 10 to 1 at Cabin John Regional Park. That is with our partner congregations, Beth High and Kahila. There's also a sign-up genius link in the Weekly News. We hope to see you there. See everyone tomorrow morning.
I'm told they will not be checking to see whether you have fasted. If you go to the Break the Fast, it's a social opportunity. You don't have to fast. There's no test. I think. I should check. I'm sure that Rabbi Cohen will get right on the phone with me at, 10:30 at night when I get home. Maybe not. We're on the bottom of page 17, and Matthew will pick up the reading for us.
We see the Jewish people as our family, our Jewishness as our home.
We see humankind as our family, and the whole world as our home.
As we enter the new year, we carry with us wishes of peace, health, and the absence of suffering for all.
Lashana Tova U'Metuka.
Lashana Tova U'Metuka. A good
and sweet year. Before we sing our concluding song, which will be Shalom Aleichem, number 34 in our hymnal section, just a reminder for those who are coming tomorrow. Such a strange reminder to give on Yom Kippur, I guess, in some kinds of contexts, but bring cookies. The family service participants will be packaging up cookies to bring to the shepherd's table, food pantry and soup kitchen, and cookies don't appear out of nowhere. They come tomorrow from you. So if you've got cookies hanging around, bring those. If you don't have cookies around, just as no lightning will come through the window, if you lose your place in the book, no lightning will come through the window if you stop at your local grocery store and pick up some cookies on the way to shul in the morning. I'm not sure I ever thought I would say exactly that thing as a rabbi, but here we are. We're going to wrap up our service with the song Shalom Aleichem, which is number 34 in the hymnal section. And for those of you going, wait, Shalom Aleichem is a Shabbat song. The traditional one is a Shabbat song. The one that we do welcomes anybody who seeks peace. And so it works pretty darn well at a time like this.